This is the 198th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for Halloween. This episode is titled Spooky Tech. I'm your host, Jason Atwood, and joining me, co-host, all dressed up in his wants to look like an Arkus employee Halloween outfit, wearing the Arkus blue today, while I wear Arkus black. Both of us in MVP swag as we came into the office. Someone should shoot us. It's Justin Elsing. Justin, how are you doing today?
Should have worn orange.
Should have. It is Halloween.
It is
a spooky
I want a
day.
Snicker bar.
Well, there's gonna be plenty available.
I feel like I want one now.
Well, you have to wait till after the podcast.
Do you think they have candy in the office somewhere?
I bet you there's candy all over the place. If not now, on Monday there'll be tons.
Oh, I can't wait.
Tons and tons of candy.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of sweet
partner
things,
that shall remain nameless will bring all the candy that his kids get into the office. Do you think he even lets his kids take candy?
Yeah,
if it
definitely
doesn't have like natural sugar in it?
No, I think he does. I think he lets his kids eat what they need to eat.
Okay.
One thing, if you take your kids and you like make things into a big deal, then they sort of focus in on it. Like my kid kind of really loves candy and like focuses in on it like it's a big deal. Because we don't let her have candy whenever she wants, because if she did, she just eat nothing but candy because she loves candy.
Oh man.
But that's what kids like. They like candy. So today is your day.
I'm
then
depriving myself right now.
You are.
Need to go get an apple or something after this show.
You love candy. Go get an apple.
A candied apple, maybe.
Maybe. So anyway, speaking of very sweet things that are candy delicious, we have an agenda for today. Been a week, so we have a recap of the of some of the stuff that's on the blog. Because we took last week off, yeah. Because we did 3 in Dreamforce.
Yeah,
we took a week off.
Yeah, because Dreamforce week was busy.
It was a lot. We did 3 podcasts in a week.
3 in a week.
We could have taken
we were at Dreamforce.
We could have taken 2 more weeks off if we wanted to.
I feel like we should have.
Well, next week we'll see. We have some traveling to do, so we'll see if we actually get a podcast done next week. So we have a little bit of a blog, some updates on what's up on the blog. We have and then some Amazon ups and downs. We have good news from Amazon, some new product, and also pretty much predictable failed product. We'll talk about that.
Why do you think it's good news that they have this new product?
Well, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
That's the whole point of talking about it. And then we have Apple news, some serious society-changing news, which I think is awesome. And then we will talk about some announcements that came out while we were at Dreamforce. Literally more Apple announcements. It feels like we talked about those. This is always new. And then we'll make our CloudFocus app pick of the week, and then we'll talk about what's coming up on next week. Oh, so much stuff. So let's kick it into the blog at blog.arkusinc.com as I type that into my browser window to go see what's actually up there. So since we've podcast before, we have the very last of our 1,700-part series on Dreamforce 14.
It's a good series.
It's a good series. And so there's 2 wrap-up articles. One is called Dreamforce 14 Recap Health and Wellness Takeaways.
That's right.
Which kind of goes over the different pieces of Dreamforce that focused in on health and wellness, which is kind of cool, with a picture of some person jumping up and down.
Probably during the Tony Robbins session.
Which you and I have talked about already on the podcast during the Dreamforce, because we talked about, because you had just gone to it or gone to it.
If people heard me. I don't know if that was one of the podcasts where people could hear me or not.
Really, the best podcasts are when they can't hear you.
I will just sit here.
And then that's fine. And then the next one is the Dreamforce 14 Takeaways, which is really sort of the big recap, like all the different things, like sort of the big things to pull out of it.
Just the big ticket items.
Yes.
Stuff.
Mostly important, it has a picture of the sheep, which is what
that sheep needs a name.
Sheepy?
Cloney?
Dolly?
No.
Cloney? Dolly? Sheepy? All right.
Donny?
Arky?
Okay.
And we're off. Okay. So we're not going to go too much over them. I think everybody's pretty much Dreamforce out at this point. We did actually have a session with Erica Cool the other day. She gave us some interesting stats.
She did.
Want to throw one out there that you remember off the top of your head about?
Oh man, there were a lot of sessions, over 2,000 sessions that had people registered for them inside of the agenda builder.
Yeah.
That was a surprising number for me. I didn't think there were that many, but they were short this year.
Lots of short sessions.
I went to 0 in a room. The only sessions I went to were in these little theaters that they had put up all over the place, which I actually enjoyed more than sort of having to be in a room somewhere. I like to just sort of walk in, walk out, see if the topic's interesting. You don't have to really register necessarily. Just walk up.
Just show up.
I like that.
Yeah, the actually only full session I went to was my own.
What's happening outside?
At the spooky trash
That is
can.
weird.
By the way, they can't hear that as much as you think they can.
Who's they?
They, the people listening to that you're asking the question of.
I was asking you.
And the only session I went to was my own, which was I guess the first time they tried it, which was like a sort of workshop. And it was cool. It was nice doing a workshop. I mean, I taught it.
A little hands-on?
Yeah, I mean,
hands
literally
dirty?
2.5 hours of like building stuff.
Took that long, huh?
Well, we were done an hour and 45, and then there was just lots of questions. Like, let's just talk about stuff.
Oh.
So we just talked about stuff.
So nice.
I
of
will
you.
say, I'd love to talk to the person who built the workbook and kind of give them some tips.
Tips and tricks?
Yeah, basically stuff that I would never do in my professional life, which is being a Salesforce consultant, because it was just wrong. Like, I would just say, well, this you wouldn't do because you would never do that. You would never name it that way. You'd never keep that date. Like, there's just certain things. Anyway, but it was interesting. I think people got something out of it. So that's what's up on the blog. But we're going to move away from that because Dreamforce 15 is right around the corner next year. So let's talk about some
We're just gonna
non-Dreamforce.
do Dreamforce all year round coverage.
Yes, that's it. It's our cloud. It's Dreamforce Weekly.
Salesforce One World Tour Weekly.
Yes,
Just
right.
gonna
And they have
go
one
with the
coming up
tour.
on New York. Yeah. So let's talk about some ups and downs, some other news that's hit the waiver wires. Yes, I just said waiver wires.
You did.
My head's in fantasy.
Newswires.
The first is that Amazon took a big loss on their Fire Phone, which we announced when it came out, and we looked at it, and I think we both wondered at the time, why would you get into this market? This is like a crowded, extremely expensive, low margin market dominated by so many people. And I can't for the life of me figure out why Amazon goes into some of these places and just doesn't, maybe it's just because I have to keep doing something else. Because what they do from a buying stuff perspective, love it. Like, you do good. Like, that's good. I like that. But every time they come out with all this other stuff, including a smartphone, which is so far away from their,
Not that far. They have a tablet.
yeah, that's far.
The tablet
But
does
the tablet
well,
came,
doesn't
but
it?
here's the thing: the tablet came from the reader, the Kindle. So the Kindle was because they sold books, so it made sense to them to build an e-reader. Totally made sense. And they took the e-reader and then they sort of like kept pumping it up until eventually, now it's a tablet. Now it's got all the stuff in it.
Okay.
I don't see the jump from we have this sort of hyped up e-reader to now I have a phone.
I would never consider buying Amazon's Fire Phone ever.
Well, nobody else did.
I totally agree with everybody else in the planet.
That no one bought. They took a huge loss. Interesting enough, speaking of things that they do that we don't know why they do it.
They just love to bundle Amazon Prime with anything.
Yes, it is true. Well, so they've now announced, I think as of 2 days ago, while when one fire goes down or goes out, another fire emerges. This is the new Fire TV Stick, which is basically a Chromecast direct competitor. Does all the same stuff, right? It's
Got a remote.
Doesn't come with a remote. Got to buy that separately.
Oh. Well, it has a remote.
Yeah. So what they're, it's the same thing of what they sell though is that our content, our Amazon content, which they do have a lot. They have tons of movies and stuff. And as a Prime member, you get a lot.
Yeah. They even have originals.
And they're starting to have originals. So they're trying, it's like they're getting into Netflix space, they're getting into Hulu space.
They do it different than,
they're trying to get
everyone else,
in the
though.
Google space.
They do it very different. I don't know if you've ever done this or not, but you can watch.
I've done everything.
Have you done this though?
Well,
this isn't your style to do.
Oh, okay.
Because Amazon, for their originals, they put the pilots out. Just the pilots.
Yeah.
And they collect feedback on the pilots.
I don't watch pilots.
It's not your thing.
Nope.
I like it. It's cool.
And do you actually give feedback, or you just watch it and that's
I watch it and I see if I like it, and then one of them I actually gave a little feedback on it. Wrote a little review. Thought it was good. It had Marlo from The Wire in it, so I was like, okay. I like that.
So it is basically the same as a Chrome, but again, bundled with Amazon stuff, including a 30-day free Prime trial.
Of course.
I think you would only get this if you were a Prime member, because if you're a Prime member, like, there's so much content on Prime that to buy a $39 stick, which actually for 2 days, which I did, I actually bought 2 of them, because for 2 days they sold them for $19 for the first 2 days. So I was like, all right, for $20, I mean, $20 is like...
Well, what's on here that we care about? You got Netflix, you got Hulu Plus, you got Amazon Instant Video, you got... And a lot of that has a lot of just overlap to it.
Right.
You got Watch ESPN, which is good, so you can watch some live streaming stuff if your cable company supports it. Showtime Anytime, same thing. Crackle, which has that terrible Seinfeld show on it.
I love that Seinfeld show.
It's awful.
What?
Not funny, not interesting.
Having coffee and cars with comedians?
Yeah, whatever you say.
I've watched it like 5 times. It's great.
Not great.
Why?
Because it's not good.
It's an interview
not
show.
Not interesting, not funny, not a good
you've watched
interviewer.
The wrong ones.
Not a good interviewer, just
no, he's
not good.
He's just talking to them.
It's not
Which ones have you watched?
Watched a lot of them. I've watched
which ones?
The Louis C.K. one, which is actually my favorite
very
one.
funny. It's the whole story around... do you watch the Jon Stewart one?
The Tina Fey one was terrible.
Tina Fey was terrible.
The Howard Stern one was not even close to as good as it could have been.
Did not watch Howard Stern.
Sarah Silverman wasn't that good.
Sarah Silverman was okay because she's funny.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that good. Like, I didn't find myself laughing. I didn't find myself entertaining. And there were only like 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, when is this going to be over? And that's not a good sign.
You got to watch the Jon Stewart one, which is one of the best. And Louis C.K. was very funny.
Yeah,
that whole story of him on the boat was just funny.
I could do without that show.
Okay, whatever. All right, so that's Crackle.
And they have commercials and things. Crackle.
Well, it's supposed to be
watching,
free. Yeah,
Crackle. It's got commercials.
So they're claiming 4 times the storage and 2 times the memory of Chromecast.
What does that even mean? Storage. What am I storing on?
Because as things come down and sort of storing in memory, maybe you could pull down actual things to store them offline. So then you could sort of put it on the stick and then throw the stick into your computer or into your TV and watch it without having internet. That would actually be helpful if you're going to
just guessing this stuff.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
They do voice search, but I feel like voice search. I don't sit at my couch and be like, I want to talk to my TV.
Siri, do something with my TV.
Hey Siri, stop that. And then
so easy.
Games and all that sort of stuff.
You connect it to the internet and then you enjoy. So easy.
So easy.
I have 2 Chromecasts. I've never even plugged them into my television. I don't need them.
Yeah.
I have 2 Apple TVs. I have a Hulu or a Roku box. I don't need these little things. I'm going to give one of those away, I think.
Yes. Someone's listening to the podcast just got that for the holidays. Yeah, I'm more I have an Amazon Prime, so to me it's more of I have Amazon Prime, and if I want to get to Prime stuff, this is a nice way to do it. I have Roku, which I can do it.
You have Apple TV.
Does not. Where on Apple TV can you get to Amazon content?
I don't know.
Yeah, you can't.
But can't you do it on your iPad and sling it up to the TV, or no?
Yeah, and how have you ever tried that? It's not really a great experience.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's not a very good experience. So, again, I wonder like how they're getting it, but they're doing some interesting stuff. I mean, they're doing some interesting stuff, and they have a comparison down at the bottom. The Roku, because there's a Roku streaming stick, a Google Chromecast, and a Fire Stick. They're sort of saying that, okay, the processor's better, the memory's better, and then you go down this list, and really the thing that, if you look across, it's Amazon Instant Video, which is actually on Roku, but I don't have the Roku stick. I have the Roku whatever. So, anyway, interesting. And then let's get into some of the Apple announcements. The first one is, and this is not a political podcast, but I think this is a for a company that we spend a lot of time talking about, this is a massive thing. Came out, I think, 2 days ago. Tim Cook came out and wrote a letter. I think it was in Business Insider or Business Week, where because as of 2 weeks ago, he put in something about his alma mater, about his state that he came from, and he said outwardly, he said, I'm very disappointed about the way that their gay rights are going, and they should step it up. So it's kind of a precursor. Mm-hmm. But he wrote this op-ed type thing, and he did his story and came out of the closet and sort of said, I guess he just wasn't very vocal about it. And he said, I want to become vocal about it to, help others and change the society and do that. And I was like, you asked before the podcast, because this is really news. I'm like, name another person who's in this position as one of the biggest, most well-known, recognized companies in the world, number 2 brand in the world. I think it's very, very, I'm sort of proud of him, but I think it's a great show of where the sort of country's tolerance for this stuff is going. In a country that now more states support gay marriage than others. So it's kind of mixing in a little politics and a little bit of Apple, but anyway, I think it's an interesting piece of news. You're not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole, are you?
I don't really think it's like. I don't choose to talk about that as news.
Well, it is.
Okay.
It's like, if Mark Benioff came out and said that he was a Martian and was gonna fly to
not the same thing.
Mars, and said he was just that.
Like, I'm an alien. Is that what you're comparing that to?
Yeah, maybe bad analogy. He came out and he said he was, I think, something a little bit more politically charged. Can't come up with it. All right. I think it's news because I really enjoy the company, and I'm proud of the individual who's running the company. How's that? All right. Soapbox down. Announcements that they announced 2 weeks ago. They announced the new iPad Air 2, the iPad Mini 3, and then they put out iOS 8. Oh, they all have a 4K iMac, like a massive,
more than 4K.
It's like 5K.
5K.
Beautiful screened iMac. I think the hardware announcements were a little bit like meh. Like, I like the new iPad Air 2. I touched it, but I still like the form factor of the Mini. The new Mini almost has nothing in it other than Touch ID, which is not enough to make me upgrade. But then iOS 8.1 really brings all the stuff that we've been talking about, and I think our number one thing that we've talked about for a long time, which is Apple Pay. So you and I have both used it. It's available stories, and there's 2 stories going on here. There's one is Apple Pay and the millions they've signed up and the people using it. But then there's like this other consortium that's sort of fighting them. So CVS and Rite Aid, as well as Walmart, are all in this other group. And they have this other technology. And so they've all disabled Apple Pay because they don't want you to use Apple Pay. They want to use your other technology.
What's called other technology?
It's called Current, and then with a C at the end. Currency.
Who was that? Like more of an open standard? It's
no,
not an open standard.
It's so again, this is totally my spin, but since I'm in my political mode, basically it's their way of building a pay technology that circumvents credit cards, so they don't have to pay the fees. Okay. So the way Currency works, and then there's a demo of it, whatever. You basically put in your full information, meaning checking account stuff, because you hook it up to your checking account. Then you go up to the kiosk to pay. You then take a snapshot. You then scan their QR code. Mm-hmm. Then it produces a QR code on your screen that you then turn the QR code around, and then the cashier scans your code, and then it does the transaction. Mm-hmm. But you have had to set this thing up at bank level access.
Like PayPal.
Kind of like PayPal. So they're avoiding credit cards.
Right.
So fine if you want to come up with your own standard, but Apple Pay worked at Rite Aid and all these places for the first 2 days, and then they turned it off. They turned it off because
why'd they even get into the early adopter thing anyway? There's a zillion stores out there that don't.
I don't know, but they basically turned it off because they want this Currency thing. 2 days later, of course, it's big news because people are like, well, we're fighting a technology that's really made our lives easy. Like consumers, why shouldn't consumers have a lot of options for paying at your stores? Why do you have to push us into your option, which is basically to try to squeak out the credit cards? And And then
that is if you have an iOS device,
and then
an iPhone 6 or 6 Plus.
2 days later, Currency got hacked.
Ooh,
where they pulled out everybody who's ever signed up for the thing. They pulled out all their information out of it.
Not good.
Right, well, first of all, the user interface of doing it is terrible. If you've used Apple Pay, which we'll talk about Apple Pay and how our use of it and we like it, whether we like it or not, it's a very simple mechanism. It's almost so simple. You're like, is this really happening? Did I really just pay for something? Versus this thing, which is much more. We just bought from Chopped, and we've talked about Chopped and paying on Chopped.
Level up.
Right, and where you open up the app, it automatically gives you a QR code. You put the QR code in front of a scanner, and you have to make sure it's right because it's a camera, and then it does it, and that's it. You walk away. It's okay. It's pretty good. In fact, when we originally
get an email with your receipt, it tells you how close you are to your reward,
and it has rewards built in, which is nice.
Which is kind of the key to it.
Apple Pay, you walk up, you literally just get your phone anywhere near this terminal. It then pops up with the payment. You just touch ID it, and you're done. It's like you don't even have to open up apps. You don't do nothing. It just knows it's near it. It says, "Hey, which one do you want to pay?" Oh, you want to pay? Pay, and you walk away. This Currency thing's like a multi-step thing, right? Again, you scan something, then they scan you, whatever. So that's kind of interesting, and that these big companies are behind it: Walmart, Rite Aid, CVS. So I had fun tweeting out the other day. I said, just purchase something at Dwayne Reed using Apple Pay. Thanks, CVS and Rite Aid, because I won't be coming to you anytime soon.
You're just so cool.
I know.
You're so cool.
I like throwing in their
just
face.
So cool.
Thanks.
You're really cool.
So what do you thought? You've been using Apple Pay. Like, how do you
just
like
at Dwayne Reed, because it's the only store I know of at the moment.
Well, Apple. That's the other one.
I'm not going there to buy anything. I did go there to look at the iPads to see if it was interesting, but it did not pique my interest enough. Right. It was still too big. I still need my little mini.
But it's too big lengthwise, not thick. The thickness is unbelievable. No, it's really thin.
It's like holding, my iPhone 6 Plus times whatever the multiple is. It's that thin, but
it's actually thinner. But
whatever, it doesn't work for me. I need the smaller iPad. So far so good with Apple Pay. I mean, I don't think, I've been paying for things with my phone for a while. This has been the easiest way to do it because I don't have to open an app. I do want to see rewards stuff built into it somehow because I do have a Dwayne Reed rewards point thing. And I keep using Dwayne Reed as the example because it's the only store near me that actually takes it at the moment. So if there are other stores out there, sorry.
This episode's sponsored by Dwayne Reed.
Yeah, I still have to punch in the phone number to look up the reward thing and then pay. I wish it was all just one seamless experience, which I have to imagine is on the roadmap somehow, some way. Don't really care about the technology of it's this, which keeps your information totally private. They have no idea who you are.
That's exactly right.
That's kind of like the antithesis of rewarding me because you have to know who I am.
Exactly.
But they'll figure it out. They're smart.
I don't think they'll put it into Apple Pay.
And do it in Apple Rewards.
They might do it in Apple Rewards.
I don't care.
Or they might do something else. But Apple Pay, as you were just saying, you didn't care about the technology, what transfers from your phone to the payment processor is a unique transaction ID, and that's it. So it is completely anonymous.
So how is this, because I don't know, and if you don't know, just claim ignorance. How is this different from Google Wallet, which has been around for a while?
They both, I know what's the same about them. They both use the same technology, NFC, right? Near field communication, which is the technical thing to do it. How it differs in terms of technology standpoint, and from the software side, I know when you sign up for Google Wallet, you've got to put in a lot more information about yourself. I know you actually are giving Google Wallet and Google, I think things like social, things like, your username, your password was stuff that they actually store at the Googleplex, which is very different from this. Again, what makes this sort of unique is that it's very locked to the device, and it's actually more secure than handing someone a credit card, even in front of them or standing there or swiping it, because your information is never ever shown. You don't know, your numbers are never exposed either to the air, right? Because they're not even on the cards. It's completely private and secure, and you're not giving it to Apple. You didn't have to give your social to Apple to sign up for this. You didn't have to do anything.
I took a picture of my credit card,
right? Which is all stored locally.
And then I had to
in your card
verify it with
for some
the credit card company.
That's for some. My Amex ones went right through.
Amex went through. They did it themselves. Capital One, I had to either open up the Capital One wallet app,
right,
or call,
right. And Chase, you have to call, which is terrible because it says call, and then you're literally calling like the generic
you call
number.
a call center, and then you have to tell them that you want to set up your app. It should all be app. Every app should, like, if you were going to support this, you like Capital One had the app ready to rock.
Right.
You
just flipped over to the app,
and it had it right there. It was like flip over to the app, and you flip into the app, and you did it.
And Chase has those apps, so why wouldn't Chase do that?
They just didn't bake it in, I guess. They'll do it in time, but I guess it was more important for them to, because I have a credit card. It's an Amex, but it's from Fidelity
Amex,
and it's not supported. I can't put it into Apple Pay right now.
So weird, because I just got because I fly Delta a lot. I got a new Delta Amex, which you get all the rewards points and whatever, and it worked. It worked seamlessly. So I was like,
I keep trying it every couple of days because that's like my main. That's like my main card.
Right. It's your go-to card.
Well, it's like the Justin card. It's not the family card. It's the Justin card. Like when I go buy lunch, it's on me. It's not on the family. Whatever.
Right. Not on the family.
Not on the family.
Family
it's
doesn't.
on me.
The family
doesn't buy me lunch.
Wow.
So
you need to talk to the family about that.
Family doesn't buy the other part of the family lunch either. So
sounds like a very tight-knit family.
It's a very tight family.
This family needs some counseling, some financial counseling. All right. Listen.
Sign me up. Let me pay for everything. I'm paying for Dreamforce next year on Apple Pay.
I want to see the in-app stuff come because that's going to be even better. When you go into an app to purchase something.
No, that's going to be dangerous.
And then it asks you, and then it says, but then
Amazon is going to be so dangerous. When I open that Amazon app,
I think it is now.
It's like, put it in my mail, put it in my whatever, but it's not because I just bought something the other day. Literally 2 days ago. Like my package should be arriving today.
Okay.
With my copper knee.
Oh, you
things.
got that.
Yeah,
nice.
bought them.
All right.
Got to give those a shot for a long run.
All right, I was just looking to see if
it's not in there yet.
Yeah. Anyway,
dangerous though.
This is so secure. I love it, and I actually go places. I mean, I always take my wallet, but I was thinking when we go running, you go with your phone.
Yes.
But then, like, I want to stop at Dwayne Reed and grab a drink. It's like, I forgot to pack money.
Good idea. I never have money with me when I go running.
Now
I
can
stop at
Dwayne Reed
and just get the bottle of water on the way home.
Plus, there's one other weird side effect of the product, which it's not something they talk about, which is that once your card's linked to Apple Pay, every time your card gets hit, it sends you an alert.
I got one yesterday that my Amex got charged for GitHub, for our GitHub is on my corporate Amex, which is on my Apple Pay. And I got the little notification. I was like, oh, wow, I'm going to just get those. Yes. All right, fine.
And they're not really annoying, but they're kind of good security. It's a good security thing to know the pay. Like we use Fresh Direct, and I got the Fresh Direct one that hit me, and I'm like, oh. And sometimes even when you walk in, they'll do it before, like, someone will charge you. But it's kind of a good way to watch out for security. So if I saw something like happen in Texas, barbecue, I might be like, wait, what's that? And then I might be able to, get that person or get that thing sorted out. So
county line.
The county line. I actually love it. I just wish it was everywhere. And this whole currency thing is kind of crazy. Other things, Yosemite came out, but you haven't been on it.
Nope.
I've been on it for about 2 weeks now.
I used to be a upgrade immediately guy, and now I'm a wait a little while
wait
guy.
for me to do it.
Oh, wait, just let me wait for the next like the .0.1 to come out.
I did it the day of, or maybe the day after. It's pretty good. It's not a massive change. It's a look and feel change, but it's not a massive change.
I did upgrade my OmniFocus to OmniFocus 2 the other day.
Oh, wow, that's big.
That was big, right?
That's big. I did do that. My big change in life has been trying to find the perfect podcasting app, and I've now switched between 3 different podcasting apps.
I don't waver. Instacast is it.
Instacast there's a couple things about it I just
don't waver.
I don't like.
It's free.
It's not
Works.
free.
It is free.
Instacast is not free.
Instacast is totally free.
Well, it's not, but
it is.
Well, then they've changed it because it wasn't free before. I've purchased
free
at least 3 versions of app. Now they have. I think they have in-app purchases.
For what?
You go into your app, you see there's like these like things inside.
Don't need them.
Yeah, I tried Downcast. That wasn't syncing, and I was like, "Well, that's the number one thing I want."
Just need.
And
some
then I did
Instacast and some Up Next.
And then Podcast, I was doing that, the Apple one, and then it just wasn't. It wasn't syncing either. I want the sync to be seamless and beautiful, like literally, like listening here, mark it as read.
Man once told me. It's a very wise man.
Yeah.
He had a wise man in a few words. Syncing is hard.
Yes.
That was his statement.
I did say that many years ago.
Syncing's hard.
Syncing's hard, but it's supposed to be easy now with
Syncing is
Apple and the
hard.
cloud.
Oh, it just works.
It just works. All right. All right. We'll get off that, and we'll call next time. We're going to talk about Salesforce's new training platform called Trailhead, which we don't know a lot about.
I don't know anything about
but
it.
we're going to find out about it. It's also going to, someone's going to write a blog post about it soon. And then also we have a blog post on org splits.
Oh, I did see this. I didn't know it was called Trailhead though.
Yeah.
I did see this the other day.
Yeah, it's been out. It's kind of a big deal. Speaking of big deals, let's make some picks of the week. So it's been like 3 weeks since we made a pick. So you're going to pick something that you won.
Yeah, I am. Isn't that awesome?
All right. Yeah, it is awesome.
So, backstory. At Dreamforce this year, there was a community-organized 5K run.
You did mention this on the podcast after the run, but okay, yes.
And they had a little raffle, and I won. I never win raffles, and I won a Fitbit. And I've said over and over and over on this podcast that I've never had a wearable. I'm not anti-wearable. I just don't know what I'd do with one. I don't know which one to get. I'm not anti-wearable. I just didn't know which one to get or why or what. And I was kind of waiting for the perfect thing. And now I have this Fitbit that is around my wrist. It's the Fitbit Flex. And I saw they put out a whole new line of them.
Of course they did.
And I was like, oh.
And Microsoft put out one.
Nice.
Called Band.
Those look nice. I was looking at the new Fitbits. I was like, ooh, those look really cool. Anyway, though. I really love my Fitbit. It's unobtrusive. It looks pretty decent. Like, it doesn't look stupid or, like, geeky or anything like that.
No, I mean, nowadays.
Everyone's wearing
right,
these things.
that's the thing.
I mean,
nowadays.
This is like the Lance Armstrong bracelet of, 2014.
Right. I just want the
Live Strong. But it's got some cool features. So, it's got the double tap, and it lights up to give you, like, a 1 through 5, how active you are. So, at a quick glance, you can see.
I'm gonna go look at our blog because I know we wrote a blog.
That was a long time
Fitbit.
ago, like the original Fitbit. Someone wrote about it because he had it. That was when you had to like clip it to and you had to sync it through a USB thing. This syncs with its app on the iOS really seamlessly.
2011.
It tracks all sorts of stuff: steps, calories burned. I'm tracking my water intake on it. Anytime I do any exercise, like it knows your active minutes in the day, but I can add in like a run. It'll actually do like run tracking. Like you could say I'm running right now and it'll track it, but I don't really trust that. I'd like to keep that all in the same app.
In the other app.
And then hope that they talk to each other one day. And I also am tracking my sleep with it. So you can like through a series of just tapping, kind of use the interface on it. Anyway, I'm sure everyone knows about Fitbit. So Fitbit Flex, $99.95. Probably come down, I imagine, with the new ones coming out very recently. Fitbit.com/flex.
Fitbit.
Been around for a while, but it's my first wearable, and I'm kind of digging it. So this is my like, am I gonna get that watch?
Yeah, you are.
Now I'm kind of digging this thing on my wrist.
Yep. You're going to get it because then it's going to have it's going to be able to do everything else.
Yeah, it's going to do everything.
It's going to do everything. So
am I going to get a pulse from Will.i.am? I don't know.
We're talking about the Apple Watch. Well, good. Fitbit. I have never owned a Fitbit. I had the, as you know, Shine, which is a little one, and I liked it because it was kind of easy and it could clip onto multiple places. Because I used to have this thing like, oh, I don't want to wear things on my wrist that are just, kind of useless, of course, nowadays. So I've never actually worn, other than that one, I've never worn a thing. I now, as we've talked about a billion times, I'm a big fan of, since the phone now has the tracker in it, I use Arkus, which then tracks all my stuff. And I do the same thing. I track water, I track workouts, I track weight, I track runs, or I put the runs in afterwards. But it's the best part I find about Arkus is the software. It's just like I can go in. I love comparing things. Like you can compare any two metrics. So I can say like the number of glasses of water I drank last month to my weight.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right.
Graph
Or
thing.
number of run. So I was looking at how much elliptical I do versus how much running I do month over month. Just to say like, oh, as my elliptical goes up or as my running goes up, does my elliptical go up or down? Interesting enough, it stayed even. So like I still do as much elliptical even when I'm running more.
Never do the elliptical.
All right. Well, your number would be very low. I am going to pick. I'm double picking this. It's the first version. It's out on actually on iPad. It's one of the big announcements they made at the thing, and I then went out and bought it immediately, of course, because that's what I do. It is Pixelmator, which is actually a Pixelmator for the Mac. Is a great, or for OS X, is a great program. It can open and save PSD files, which is huge. Those are Photoshop files. But they came out with a version for the iPad. So there are a lot of drawing apps and a lot of drawing things.
Never got into these things.
Some are terrible. Some are good.
I tried, and I cannot write on the iPad, even with those like pens, the things. It just never.
These aren't writing.
This space
for drawing.
Not enough space. I need a big palette.
You need a big palette.
Oh yeah, I need a big palette.
So Pixelmator was one of the ones that they showed in the thing. They've created a new, very, with the layers and the brushes and whatever. It's a really nice program. I love these programs. I have like 10 of them on my iPad. I never use them, but I love them. I don't know. It's like a collection of nice drawing packs. So if you're looking for a nice drawing program to, with lots of features, and that feels, I don't want to say feels like Photoshop, but feels like Photoshop, like that it has all the sort of ability of Photoshop, but on your iPad, and is $4.99. Try out Pixelmator, and if you're really looking for a nice program, try out Pixelmator on the OS X, which is very, very good, and that's in the store as well. I think that's more money, but they are very good. They also both use iCloud Drive, so you can start an app.
I haven't done that yet.
That's right, because you're not on Yosemite. When you go in Yosemite, you'll turn it off the desktop.
The phone keeps asking me, do you want to turn it on?
You don't want to do it until you go to Yosemite, then you can turn it on.
And then I can do what now? Should we just save that for another podcast?
Yeah, it's basically
Wait
Dropbox.
till I get to Yosemite.
It's Dropbox.
So it's back to the old, what was it called?
I think it's called iCloud or iCloud or
there was a drive.
.mac,
.mac,
.me, .mac,
no,
iTools, iDrive.
There was like
whatever.
a drive. Remember, there was like a whole thing, like a drive that came with it. And when they went to Mobile Me, it disappeared, and it was like,
right.
What was that called before it was Mobile Me?
I don't know, but it was the same thing.
Oh,
but now it's back, except for now it's more focused on the apps. So now apps on your, this is one of the big things, is apps on your phone and on your iPad, they don't share data. Like you can't get to the files that are in them. You can share them, meaning take a file and send it. But that's not what you want. You want to be able to basically have a folder. So now on the Mac, once you get to Yosemite and turn this on, you have a folder called iCloud Drive, and in it is one folder per application that can use it.
Are the productivity tools free now on the desktop too?
Oh yeah.
Like Keynote,
yeah.
Numbers, Pages, those are all free now on the desktop.
Yep.
All right, those might be worth actually downloading then.
So now they all sync, and they all sync in iCloud Drive. So and you can get to them on the desktop. They used to sync, but you couldn't get to it. Like there was no folder to get to it. But now
you had to open the app.
You can get and it knew from the app, but it never was exposed. Now it's like a folder like Dropbox. It syncs like Dropbox.
I just use Google.
Or Google.
I like Google.
Yeah. Well, Google Drive's been having some.
All right, let's wrap this puppy up.
All right, let's wrap it up. We'll be back next week.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to everybody. Follow Just Edelstein, Jason and Matt with Arkus Inc. Go to facebook.com/Arkus Inc. Go to Success Community Group. We have our very popular and growing. Thank you for everybody for being in the Success Community Group. Just search for CloudFocus Weekly. We're on LinkedIn, on the Google Plus. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, please head to iTunes or Stitcher, and you can subscribe to us both there or in any of your podcasting things of choice. Please leave a review in one of those two if you like the podcast. If you don't, we're very sorry. Justin will do better next time. It is Justin Jason saying, enjoy those cloudy days.